Hello and welcome to setting up your KW Placester site training. This video will actually teach you both inside and out on how to get your Placester site rolling through KW. So after you log into your dashboard of mykw.kw.com, there's two things we have to make sure that we do before we actually go through and set up the Placester site. The first one is we have to make sure that our MLS user ID is put into the IDX solution through the eAgency website. So to do that, all you have to do is go to My Marketing and click on this little plus sign here, and then go down to the very bottom. It says Manage eAgency Website. Then you're going to come down here to number 4, click on number 4, and click Add IDX Search. And we just want to make sure that you have a yes button here. If you check that, you should be all set to go. In order to get that yes button, you have to email Tammy from East. The second thing we have to do is we have to actually get our mobile property search running. So to do that, when you log in, your screen will probably end up looking something like this. All you have to do is scroll down, go to Grand Rapids East, and then you're going to have your own mobile app URL. What I usually do is the mobile app service. I put West Michigan, and I check this box that says yes, send mobile visitors to my KW app downloader page. Then I'm going to copy and paste this URL here. So I'm going to click here, drag over, hit Command C or Control C if you're on a PC, and then open up a new tab and paste that right there. And what I want to do is I just want to make sure I see my name right here as the agent of choice. So I'm going to leave this tab open, and I'm actually going to come back over here to the Home tab to go back to my dashboard. Then what we're going to do is we're going to actually come up here to Technology, and we're going to scroll down to the 4th option where it says KW Websites. We're going to click on that, and this page here actually explains kind of what the website is all about. If you want to learn more product information, you obviously can click this button here. If you're looking for more training, you can click this button here. And rollout schedule, we don't need that button because we've already rolled out. And now, if it says your website is ready, just click on Go to My Website, and you'll actually be logged into the KW Placester board. So the first thing you're going to do is this right here should actually click on Launch Site. We need to launch the site in order to see what we're doing. So if you click on that, it should actually come up, and what will happen is you'll probably have your full name, and then it'll say .kw.com. If it doesn't, let me know or let KW support know, and then they'll get you rolling on the right way. So this is my site, kind of a little quick tour. What we can do is we have a slider here. We can change these images if we want to. We have a listing search, so people can actually go through and find homes. We have an about page, which we can go through and customize. We have a blogging aspect, which is great for SEO. I think every agent has the same 4 blogs pre-written for them. You do want to make sure that you start adding more content when you have the opportunity. We have a contact page, and these two here will actually show you that we can actually add pages, and we can actually add a link to an outside source. So if I say search app, it clicks, and what do you know, it actually goes to that same search app. Another thing that we'll need to do for setting up your site on Placester is we need to install Google Analytics. Now, Google Analytics is set up through a Gmail account, so it'll work with any @gmail.com email account that you have. If you don't have one, feel free to set one up. And then the easiest way to get there is to actually just Google Analytics, and then you just log in. You're going to come up here to Admin. You're going to come down to Create New Account, and through that, pretty much what you're going to do is you're going to say your name. So mine would be Jeremy Mullins Placester. My website name, which would be jeremymullins@kw.com, and then my website URL. And so what I do is I would click on View Live Site. I would pretty much just copy this URL here. Remember, it's Command C on a Mac or Control C on a PC. And I come back to Analytics, and I'll just paste that here, but then I'm going to delete the HTTP in front of it so I don't have it twice. So the website URL will read HTTP site 51837 You're going to select a category, which will be real estate. You can just start typing it in there. And you're going to make sure the time zone is correct. So we're going to be on Eastern time. I will leave all these checked. The more tools that Google has on your website, the more likely it is that they will rank it. I'm going to get tracking ID. So I have to accept the terms. And then get a tracking ID number, and that's going to be this one right here. So it's going to be UA 804, yada, yada, yada. So I'm going to leave this page open. I'm going to come back to it when we need to actually install Google Analytics on our page. So going back to the Placester, setting up the site is actually pretty easy. We have a tab up here called Site Settings, and through that, pretty much what we do is we have a long list of things that we are actually going to do. But don't worry, it doesn't take that long to actually get done. For site settings, IDX integration, I'm going to click on this. We're going to go through and we're going to click on Add URL or Add MLS. And we're going to go through and we're going to just follow the directions until we get to Michigan Regional Information Center, MISRIC, Grand Rapids Association of Realtors. Now there's a Lakeshore board. We want to make sure we're just on Grand Rapids. And then pretty much what you do is you click on Use this MLS and go through the steps and for it to go through. When it gets to broker email, what we'll do is we'll actually go through and email that to Gene Spensky. And his email is Gene Spensky, SZPEINSKI, at kw.com. And that should actually make the site go live, the IDX go live. For you guys who don't know, IDX stands for Internet Data Exchange. Pretty much that's a fancy term to say whatever shows up on GRAR's website will actually show up on your website as well. So after that's done, we're going to go down to Global Filters. And so pretty much what it states is Global Filters determine which listings show up on your website from the MLS. So we can actually go through and we can filter listings. We can show all listings if we want to. If we want to show all listings, just check that box there and click on Save. I think that this one here, to show all listings, is going to be your best bet. It's the best way to make sure that your clients can find any home that they want. If you want to do filtered listings, that means you can have just different criteria showing up. So minimum price, maximum price, stuff like that. You can add that. What will happen is this number will actually go down. Right now I'm connected to the KWLS, or the Keller Williams listing service. So all these are actually just Keller Williams listings. You would have that same access up until the point where your IDX takes over, and then whatever shows up on the board will show up on your website. And if you only wanted specific listings, you click on there and you can kind of go through and do another search if you wanted to. But I recommend displaying all listings. So I'm going to dismiss that and then kind of come down. Now featured listings, what we can do is we can actually say that we want featured listings to only show up like our listings on the front page, or maybe we want to show only luxury properties on our front page. So what we can do, if it's price to determine, we can actually have the minimum price be $800,000, let's say. Let's say I wanted to have my MLS user ID show up to be featured listings. What I would do is I'd click on Add Search Criteria, and I kind of come through and I'm going to pick Agent ID. I'll click on Add, and then on the Agent ID, what it usually is, you know how you usually log into Flex using the RIC.G? Well, that's what we're going to actually start with. We're going to do like G, MULL, and then random numbers that you are assigned through your MLS ID. So this is going to be your GRAR user ID. So if you have questions about your agent ID, just let me know and I'll be happy to help. Next, under site settings, what we're going to do is we're going to go to Open House Info. This is only available with single property websites, so we can actually skip this step. Now you're asking, what is a single property website? If you wanted to pay Placester, you can actually make a website that has featured listings. For instance, if I click on that plus sign, I can do a single property website. I can go through the details and go through and pick a theme, all that fun stuff. You are charged for this. I think it's about $5 to $6 a month for the site to be live. So it's a good feature if you have a house that's a nice house and you want it to have its own landing page. Up until that point, you don't have to pay for it. It's only until you publish it that you have to do that. So I'm not going to be too worried about this right now. It has anything to do with setting up your actual Placester site. So we're going to skip this setting. One thing I do want to make sure that you know is that when KW assigns you a website, you do not want to disable it you want to actually keep the one that they give you. I don't want to have you guys paying for the $10 a month Placester fee. So just for the time being, just make sure that you always keep whatever KW sites are available to you. Kind of coming back up here under theme selection, we can actually pick what our site looks like. So if you recall, my site actually looks like the theme that's picked right here. I can go through and I can pick whatever theme I want. Now KW actually does have a couple customized themes that they have for their agents. We have the Madison, and so if we pick on the Madison, then we can pick on our header. So we can have it be a red header if we had a white logo, or a white header if we had a colored logo. And we can actually pick the color of our sites too if we wanted to. So I'm going to keep it red. I'm going to keep it KW. Always make sure that you actually put your motto in here if you want to, and then you can hit save. Going back up here to site settings, we're going to come down to slideshow. This is the slideshow I have selected. If you wanted to, you can actually go through and pick these different ones. If you want to do luxury properties, you'd hit select, and then you actually come down and you'd see the listings that the photos that are available to do that. Now you can always upload your own. That's never an issue. So I'm going to click on save and come here to site settings, and I'm going to go to certifications. So if you have any certifications, this is pretty much where you click on the box that you have. It'll actually show up on the website in the appropriate spot. So mine right here, if you scroll down, I have Equal Housing and National Association of Realtors. If I go through and I uncheck something, hit save, and I do a refresh on that site, those logos will now disappear. So they're nowhere on the site. So if you, the bare minimum that you need for certifications, you should have the Equal Housing. You should also have the Realtor button selected. And obviously, if you've went through the classes and you can actually go through and add any of these, it's always a good idea to do so. Back up here under site settings, we're going to come down here to social networks. Very easy to do. Pretty much all you do is you find your URL on Facebook and you just put in whatever characters show up after the URL. So if I go to facebook.com, so what I would do is I click on, I go to Facebook and I click on my name, and then I have that URL right behind here. I'm going to copy that and I'm going to paste it into Placester. So I can copy and paste it there. And then you're going to do the same thing for Twitter, LinkedIn. If you have any other social media outlets, that's what they're going to be on. So take the time to do this and set it up, and you should be all set. Just make sure you hit save when you're done. Going back up to site settings, we're going to do a search form. So here we can actually say which search form we want. Now, it depends on which theme that you use. It actually determines what search boxes are available to you. So it's completely different for each theme, but if you had any questions on that, just let me know. So if you pick a theme, you're going to have different search form options to pick from. The second one is next one down is the menu. And so you can actually go through and add pages, delete pages, as you just saw. So to add a page, pretty much what I do is I click on a page, and I could actually say like a contact page or something like that. Now I can create a page at any time, a page or a post. So I created a page. If I create a page, so we'll just call this one Homes with Windows, and I have content here, and then the default template is fine, and the page title is fine. So pretty much what I'd do is I'd say save it, and I'd hit edit menu, and pull out the menu, and now this shows up here. Now I can rearrange these pages too. As you can see, if I go over a box, I have that little crosshair show up. That just means I can click and drag it. So if I want contact to be on the right hand side, all I have to do is click it and drag it to the bottom. And when it's on the bottom, oops, it's supposed to be kind of picky. So it's on the bottom, that means it's going to be on the left hand side, and things on top is going to be on the right hand side. If you have any questions, just kind of take a look at your site. So if you hit save and you come on down here, you'll see that home is right here, and now contact would be moved here if I saved it. So if I save it and do a refresh, contact has moved from here over to here. So that's the menu. If you have any questions on the menu, feel free to give me a call or a shout. Next one down is going to be site info. You want to make sure that this page is filled out to the max. The reason being is that if you want Google to pick you up as a local real estate agent, this information needs to be picked out the best of your ability. So keep your name, email, phone number. Google takes this into local SEO consideration. And office details, same thing. When you get to SEO, meta title right here, that's actually what when you Google something, that's what shows up in bold on top. So if I Google my name, for instance, this is what right here, that's my meta title. That's meta title. Meta description's right here. That's going to be right here. The meta description is going to be anything underneath that title. Now, if you will notice, I actually have my cell phone on here. That means when somebody's on a mobile device, they can click on that cell phone number and give me a call. I do suggest that you do the same thing. And please use the same format I'm using. So I would use parentheses, spaces, and hyphens where appropriate. It makes it easier for people to see, and it makes it so clicking on it's going to be really easy. So I'd click on Save. And then going down to Lead Capture. It's up to you what you want to do. Each theme actually is different. You can do passive, aggressive, or custom. Custom, I think, is made for the KW themes, so it's up to you what you want to do. My suggestion is do aggressive. You want people to register on your site. The reason being is you can't work them as a lead up until the point they register. So if they come to your site and never register, there's no way that you can work with them until they want to contact you. So my suggestion is aggressive. If you do not like that, feel free to do passive. It's completely up to you. It's pretty awesome. Lead forwarding, that means that you can have leads actually go to multiple email addresses if you want. All you have to do is put an email address in there, separate with a comma, and then put in the other address. So it's a comma space and the other email address. And so anytime a lead comes in, you should be able to do it that way to get it to the person that needs to see them. So you click on Save, and that's done. Custom domain. If you want a custom domain, pretty much what you have to do is you buy a domain. My suggestion is GoDaddy, just because they're probably the easiest to work with, and they have a good user system. Pretty much what you do is you put in your domain here that you bought, click on Add Domain, and then you're going to click over here where it says Help, and follow the step-by-step article. And so if you buy it through GoDaddy, click on the new user interface. It'll pretty much give you directions on how to get the domain pointed to your site. It's very, very simple to do. If you have any questions on that, feel free to let me know and I'll be able to help you out. Going back to the Placester site, I'd click on Save if I want to have a custom domain. Now we have site tracking. So site tracking, this is my Google Analytics user ID. So pretty much what I'd come down to is my Google tab, Analytics tab. I'd copy that tracking ID, go back to my Placester site, and I'd paste that right there, and I'd click on Save. Now there's more Google stuff that you can do, so you can actually do conversion IDs and conversion labels if you wanted to. You'd have to sign up for a Google AdWords account to do that. That's not something we cover in training. If you wanted to find information on it, let me know, and I'll be happy to help you out. And then last but not least, we have site verification. So site verification means that you actually can submit this stuff to Google Webmaster Tools, Bing Webmaster Tools, Pinterest, and Google+. This is a little more advanced, so look for a different video coming your way to actually show you how to do this stuff. It's not necessarily necessary, but it will help you as far as conversion tracking, seeing if your site's working properly, checking for broken links and stuff like that. So after this is finished, then you can actually go through and get that going. So click on Save if you wanted to, and I'd dismiss it. The second thing, remember we brought up our mobile app. So we have our mobile app page. What I would do now is I'd actually copy this right here, and I'd go back to my Placester site, come to Site Settings, go down to Menu, and I'm actually going to add a custom URL. And I click on Add, and so pretty much what this is it's label, URL, and tooltip. So the label is going to be search for home, or mobile app, or something like that. we have to put a URL, so you're going to paste that there, and we're going to do a tooltip, so it'd be free search tool, and click on add. We have to do all of those for the domain to show up, and then I click on save. Now if I go to my site and do a refresh, I have search for mobile app. If I click on that, it takes me to my app. So that's kind of your Placester setup in a nutshell. Obviously, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out, and I will do what I can to answer your questions.